Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex, Gore, and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex, Gore, and Lance Cayko.
How's it going, Lance?
It's been a week.
How's it going, everyone?
Good. I hope everybody's having a great week.
Me too. So I got a contact. This girl's asking about Revit, and she wanted to learn Revit. Found our webpage. She goes, "I read the whole webpage. I absolutely love it. This is Revit furniture." So talking to her about all this, and I go, why are you into Revit? I was just, we were just having a conversation.
Is this a phone call?
This is a phone call. I don't think I put it like that. But she said, I did a remodel on my house, and it almost killed me because just think about a remodel, everything that's
physically killed her or just
mentally?
Everything? Oh, I believe it. I gutted a house. My first house that I bought, I gutted it and redid it. It almost killed me.
Yeah. And she has a nonprofit, and she works with people that have mobility issues, and they need to redo the houses. She's like, I cannot understand how people are doing this without Revit. Because CAD, things are fake. If you model everything in real 3D, you can eliminate some of these problems ahead of time. So, okay, great. Turned out she's a student. Give her the student discount, all that. I go, just how did you hear about us? Because you're in New York. She said, oh, well, I did a search because I have work and we need architects to draw this. So she's in Rochester, New York. And she said, there's 30 architects that she contacted. Guess how many people use Revit? That she said.
2.
You are absolutely correct. Did I tell you this?
No.
She said 2. So she goes...
2 out of 30 in Rochester, New York, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's a big town.
But why did she contact them? I'm sorry, catch me up here.
So she has clients that need to redo houses. So she's helping them.
So she's not an architect.
No, but she's an interior designer.
Fair enough.
At school. And she goes, Chuck Smith. I go, well, that sounds so familiar. And I see that he was in an email earlier this week. So Chuck Smith bought our Revit lift package. So good for him getting work. 2 out of 30 in Rochester, New York. Holy cow. I still can't believe that. And what was so awesome about him is he sent us a letter, a handwritten and then like a typed one. This is for the lift, blah, blah, blah. And he's saying how excited his firm is to get into Revit because it's like a new adventure. You're learning something new. It is exciting. And I thought, one, it just shocked me that little amount of firms were in it. And then 2, the personal touch that it's newdesignworks.com that he did doing business. I'm sure that he's great. I'm sure he's great at business because if he does this, he bought something from us. We're not even his, clients. He paid us. What a good lesson. What a good lesson.
So to let everybody know, because there's a lot of, we're not video, it's a pure terrestrial listening. What Alex is describing is we got this letter, and it looks like kind of like an announcement for the new year. But then on top of the letter, with Chuck also has a photo of himself, standing next to this really cool door and entryway. Then he wrote a handwritten note, "Hello to F9." So yeah, a little bit goes a long way. That was awesome. It was a really nice surprise. It put a smile on my face when I opened up that letter for sure.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was that. For some reason, and forgive me here, I thought that was from the Revit kid because we're an affiliate there.
Yeah. And when I first opened that, I thought it was. Is that what you thought it was? No. I thought it was from another guy's mailing us checks because he doesn't want to pay on PayPal. So I just thought I just thought it was from him. Yeah. But nope, it's Chuck. So awesome.
Get into Revit.
Please.
For the love of your own firm.
Yeah, your own
telling
people.
I was listening to, we give Mark a shout out every single time because we love him so much. But I was listening to Mark's podcast this morning, and one of the things they were talking about was, it was the latest episode. One of the things they were talking about was, in our industry, architects specifically, there's always been this problem with low pay, crazy amount of hours. And I can't reiterate over and over again enough to everybody who's listening is, we think the reason for that is lack of efficiency with whatever software program you're using.
Yes.
Setting up your template, lifting yourself up.
Listen to the last podcast about our common files, common folders, all that other stuff.
Exactly.
What's actually in there?
You can still do rock star stuff. I am convinced if you just set yourself up for success. And you don't have to kill yourself or your employees. Our employees, I can't emphasize this enough. We do not require them to work more than 40 hours a week. Alex and I do, but we are the owners. We have to put in that extra effort. We have to, because we have marketing on top of other stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think we need to keep doing this in the industry we're in. There's a solution.
And then I want to add on top of yours.
We also pay them well.
Lack of efficiency, lack of focus, meaning they're just focused on twiddling thumbs sometimes and going in circles. But the other thing, and we've touched on this a lot, lack of responsibility. And what do you mean? What do you mean? We have responsibility for the drawings, all that. I still think that we put things off. We don't construct with our hands. And I'm not saying you have to construct the project, but we don't take that responsibility as much, and we aren't the authority as much as if you think about, because I've been in meetings, and it might be just because I'm young, either the engineer is the final word or the contractor is the final word. And then sometime I am too, and especially this big project I went over where week after week, the contractor said what I said last week and they listened to him. And then now, okay, are you going to listen to me finally? Because he just says everything I say just a week later.
Yeah. At some point you have to be proven correct.
Yeah.
In certain instances, for sure. I know.
But that's just to give a hint of the overall industry.
Yeah. We're better than this. Architects, designers, business owners.
Yep.
So cool. So I've been reading the book, another book that you recommended, Al, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Awesome book. I'm 3 chapters deep. I plan to hopefully finish it this weekend because I need to stay on track with my book a week thing. So I have a couple quotes to read to you. I just wanted to see how you'd react. And actually, there are more questions, Al. Okay. So right away, right off the bat, like very first page, one of the questions that stuck out to me was, how many? Okay, then I got the graphic artists and designers we're hiring to build our websites and brochures have degrees in design and know everything about Photoshop. But how many of them have read a single book about writing a good sales copy? And that why I say that, why I'm asking you this question is, that applies to us. We know Photoshop. We know Weebly. We know InDesign. We know all of these softwares. So, you and I have full control of our website and our marketing. But have we read a sales copy book? Until now.
And made the stick.
I would give us a little bit of a credit there.
But I think your point is still valid. And what's also valid about your point is that when I was working in Montana, I was just doing lawn work, working for this guy that owned this electrical company. And he goes, as the boss, your job is to get them work, not to do work. So me and you, I'm looking you right in the eyes.
Yep.
And then everyone that's listening, I'm looking you right in the eyes. If your job as the boss is to get work, how many marketing books have you read? Honestly, how many sales books have you read? And it's not that you probably aren't doing a good job, because I think everything boils down to fundamentals, right? Contact, put them first,
And if you have a good referral network, who are we to say? But boy, still, there's always room for improvement. Yeah. So we're taking a look at that. So what it leads me into is,
you want to know what? For small firms, I bet you the big firms have. I bet they
go on retreats. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So honestly, it kind of jumps. Where I'm jumping ahead now a little bit here. What it leads me to is, I thought, okay, we've read Made the Stick. Now Alex.
I want to reread that, by the way.
You should. Now we're both reading Building a Story Brand and trying to think about how we become more effective marketers and then obtain the work, because we need to keep our everybody fed. But it brought me back to what I think I talked about. I can't remember what episode it was last season, but at some point, shouldn't we simplify our contract? So I wanted to spitball with Alex today while we're podcasting about how we do that. So we have, I think it's like average proposal that the architect or designer or any kind of professional
No, it's not. I know
not?
it's not.
Okay,
And
ours is different.
I'll tell you the difference. Ours, we break it down into phases and then list the points as like bullet points of deliverables and things like that. A lot of contracts that I've seen of other architects will break it down in phases, but they'll do a paragraph of what they're doing.
And a description.
And
So like if it's schematic design, here's the description.
Yep. I want to make up some accent or whatever, but yeah.
So there you go. So what we tried to do was we tried to condense the information out of a paragraph form and put it into bullet form, thinking this would simplify it. But in my world, after doing these proposals over and over again with people, I'm not sure it's clear because a picture's worth 1,000 words. So how do we pictify it? How do we make it into photos?
The only thing that not the only thing, but one thing I've found a problem with our contract is when you're billing, right? A lot of times our bills specifically match, our outline because we have we have a weekly outline, and in those outlines it will say deliver this, have this meeting. And sometimes it's more fluid, right? Okay, so we didn't meet the second time and do a second proposal, but that first time we actually did double as amount. But do you ever have that a problem aligning up the bills with
now with the client a client that paid us all up front? That's the issue I'm running into.
Yeah.
There's two different buildings. I talked about this before. There's two different buildings, but one building was sort of, they already kind of had designed. It actually worked out. They did a great job. The other building, they wanted us to basically be the architects, and the first building kind of went right into like the middle of the whole contract.
Yeah.
And so for me to try to follow along to our I went about this the whole wrong. It's a good learning lesson, but it's not working out.
Can I play devil's advocate for you? Well, one, I want to agree with you because in this one phase we did electrical pass, but that's actually not for a couple of weeks. So then what? Do I take out that line item, build it for that? It's crazy. But to play devil's advocate, what I like about this is in that book it talks about clarity. And these bullet points, it's if you give these paragraphs, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, that's fine. They might get it. But when they see ours in comparison, because we go against other architects, do they ever think like, oh, they'll do this, then they'll do this, then they'll do this, then they'll do this,
I don't know. It's up in the air. Yeah, devil's advocate in the way that you think, oh no, we are simplifying it. Look, here's what I'm saying is, I just think it needs. Okay, we can do it two different ways. Do we layer on top? And here's my first idea. My first idea is, so we have let me count these pages real quick. 1,
it's like 4 or 5,
3, 4. So I'm holding a contract right now. It's got 5 pages on it. The first page gives a description, who we are, whatever. And then it goes into all the phases that Alex talked about.
Schematic design,
right?
Design development.
Yep. And then we go into and we say, hey, here's the drawing sheet set that you'll get basically, and we kind of list out this is what you can expect, and then we usually give them like an example. When I send over a PDF of the proposal, then we give them an example set that they can look at, so they can understand the final deliverable. They need something tangential, right? And then the last part is the last 2 pages are just boilerplate legality and crap. Here's what I'm saying there's 2 different ways I think. Either we take the bullet points and turn them into, we condense this down to like 2 pages, and we try to make it so that there are graphics in place of the bullet points somehow, or like it's a combination, or we still continue with the way we're doing it basically. And right after we have our cover sheet, which is usually like a photo of the firm, and then it says all the awards we've won or whatever, and then maybe some example projects. Or sorry, right after that cover sheet, do we put, okay, here's how to read this contract, just a how-to.
That sometimes I go over that in the meeting. You'll have schematic design. This is what we'll do. You'll have this,
right. But here's the problem: when you do that on the fly.
Yep.
I'm having trouble this week reeling a client in because I went over this stuff verbally with the person.
Yep.
And they did not retain any of the information I gave them.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
No, okay. So
Were you going that direction?
I was going that same direction because teaching, we just went over teaching and all that. Like, oh, you got to say the same things multiple times, and we know that is true. So, what if I still want to think about how we do these bullet points and maybe how we let flexibility in the billing? I think that's a separate issue. But Lance, what if we did this? Hey, send them the email, and here's a PDF with the contract. And normally it has the cover page, the contract, and then example projects, right? That's one PDF. Then the second PDF is maybe an example CD set. And then say in the email, also, here is a video, right? Now you want to think visual and clarity. Here is a video of the process. And it's just me and you explaining. Maybe we bring in Mari and we have a contract and say schematic design. And then we have a schematic design set right here and say, this is what you can expect.
Oh my God.
Did I blow your mind, hopefully?
Absolutely.
Here's DD. And then just, even if you went over it again, just, hey, here's another 4-minute video. Here you go.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that the best. I like that better. We should just do that.
Good. I'm glad we had inside the firm today.
Seriously, no, because I think it's a struggle. And I think it's something we need to address. But there you go. That would be interesting. I mean, we could just throw that on the website too, couldn't we?
We could, but we already have 4 or 5 videos.
Yeah.
What's nice about this is that it's very pertinent to like that.
I hope Mari's listening and then she contacts us as a result.
I hope so too. Just call us because we'll probably forget. Or just come over and set up your cameras.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. That would be great. Yeah. And somehow it pans to, while we're talking, okay, yeah, here's a schematic set. Do you see what you're getting? And then here's the iteration and go that. That's why I've been trying like the last 2 quarters of last year. I tried to save those progress sets from clients where I'd have those first meetings. And then what was great about it is I actually got to, so they were like floor plans that were in schematic design, presented them to the client. Then the client went home. They actually sketched over them and stuff like that, which was great. So it was really collaborative. And then for the next set of clients, then I got to bring in both sets and show them like, hey, here's where we're at.
Nice.
Here's how it works out, and it helped for one of them.
Yeah.
The other one not so much.
Okay, so I think that's great to a visuals, whatever. Do you have any solution for flexibility in billing? I still like the bullet points. I don't know.
Stop doing stuff before you're not supposed to do stuff.
Yeah, but honestly, some of my projects are in years too. They're a year long, and it doesn't follow, planning works until you get punched in the face.
Fair enough.
Right?
That's fair. And then you got to pivot. Yeah. So my feedback on my side is here's where I think maybe the difference is. Like you've mentioned before, I'm doing most of the bigger custom houses and most of the like pop tops and remodels and stuff. You're doing townhomes, huge projects on your side, right? For me, it's been working. I've been able to stick to the schedule with the exception of that one project that we have right now. Maybe, honestly, we have to have a different kind of contract for these other projects. I don't know. That's for me, it's been working. It's just the one exception. You asked me to point out which one. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Because honestly, I think
explain to me though. Okay, how about this? So, what are you doing? What is your example again? One more time of how it didn't work out. You jumped ahead and did electrical or something first.
Here's one example. We're doing a huge project, right? And it's a year long. So in one of the phases, let's say design development, it says week 14 to week 15. And then it says, or it says week 20 to 22. And it has 2 meetings with the MEP and like 1 meeting with the LA, stuff like that. Who knows? 14 weeks. Like, how are you planning 14 weeks down the road, 22 weeks down the road?
Here's where I agree with you. Somehow, so to give everybody just a visual again is, I'll read this to you. So it says schematic design phase, week 1. And then, schematic design phase 2 is like week 1-2. That's what Alex is talking about in specifics to our contract. I want to somehow get rid of that too. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's started to bite me in the butt because people are like, look, you said week 4.
And it's week 6.
And it's week 6. even though we have this nice little disclaimer that says the weekly timeline listed below is for organizational purposes only, as production time will most likely fluctuate. Never fails. Never fails. We gotta get at least one, client a quarter. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's our own fault. We're saying what's reality.
Here's another one too. We're doing an addition, and design development is taking longer than expected, but I think CDs will be easier. It's hard for me to grab out of the CD pot and bring that in, but that would be true in any sort of scenario too. So I don't mind it. What I really like too about it though is that it keeps us accountable inside, because I can say to the guys, like, here's our task. This is where we need to be at. This is it breaking down. It really breaks things down. And I think the problem with architects with inefficiency, let's talk about inefficiency because you brought it up. When you chunk things into these large groups, we have 4 things and we break it down into 10%, 20%, 15%, and 40%. I don't think that you have that nuanced perspective that maybe this gives you. You know what I mean? And that makes us acutely aware of what's going on, because if we bill out in every 2 weeks, you're thinking about what are the next 2 weeks, what's going on.
Well, and how about this? According to here's one way. Here's what we are literally having to do on this particular. This is the contract I'm describing right now. We actually just signed it. I think it's the second or third project we've signed so far this in 2018. The client requested that at the last phase where it says permit documentation phase, is week 4. He goes, can you please put to be completed by 2/16/18? And and Mark and I are going, okay, we are staying to a strict schedule. So rather than pivoting away, maybe we're going to stick to it as best as possible. Maybe what it is somehow, can we put a disclaimer where we say, like, we can modify the contract, we addendum it and we adjust it, or we point to another, like an Excel spreadsheet or something that says, hey, here's where we're supposed to be. Obviously, Jim got sick. He couldn't make the meeting, so now we push back a week. But it at least ties, so that you don't have to modify the contract, but it at least ties to a modifiable timeline.
Living document, yeah. Or I would almost be happy that if there was a statement in the process of design, sometimes the items fluctuate. The billing will generally match this, but certain items can be pushed around. Something like that. I don't
address it some way.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Speaking of that, you're stealing too many of my staff, and I need another person. And we just hired another person. I need Mark full-time. I need Jason full-time, and I need Ross full-time.
Oh, but I thought I got Ross.
And you just took Mark half.
I know.
It'll work out. All I'm saying is it's a good problem to have, but
it's a good problem to have. Yeah, but it is a scary problem to have too.
Yeah.
At the same time, gotta get out there, brand yourself, do your thing.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Did you want to go through more outlines, or you just want to read my underlines that you just love?
So Alex read this book first, and everything is underlined. He's already reading it for me. It's stupid. Yes, I've got another question for you. Let's see, page 24. Let me get there.
This is StoryBrand, and while Lance is doing that, please, everyone, go pick it up. Honestly, Lance, you should put StoryBrand on your podcast list. The guest that he's getting, normally I start at 1. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry. Yep. I should be listening to his podcast. Yeah,
yep.
Sure.
I listened to the first, 5 or 6, and then I just went in, order from the most recent and going back. It's absolutely amazing, everyone. Okay. Back to Lance, to the book.
So one of the cool points he brings up, this is kind of a beginning of a paragraph. Does your marketing pass the grunt test? So what that is you're asking 3 questions. What do you offer?
Architecture.
Yep, exactly. You can answer these. How will it make my life better? Why do I need to buy it? So as an architect, how do you answer? How do you show through your website or however you're marketing how you answer that question? How you're answering those questions? The tricky thing is that I don't know, what you're showing people beautiful spaces that you've already created, and then that's how they go, oh yeah, I'm living in a crap hole right now, and now I'm going to be not living in a crap hole because they haven't hired these guys. Are going to make it better.
So have you answered these questions?
No, I'm asking you. I'm literally asking, and this is kind of what I'm thinking about. I haven't looked at the website. I swear that you were updating it last week or something.
Yeah. But what's great, I need to go back through this book because there's so much to it. What do you offer architecture? How do you make my life better? Is because we can create the idea that's in your head. Why do I need to buy it? Why do I need to buy it? And that goes. I don't know if there's simple answers to that. You need to use some architect, and why you want to use us. It's boiling that down, and that's the hard issue, is boiling down like your unique selling proposal.
And then here's the even harder issue. How do you convince people of this? This is like a super interesting question I had. We must show the people the cost of not doing business with this. How do we do that? What do you like? And I swear I brought this up 2 days ago or something in the office to everybody, is how do we convey to people, if they don't go with us, they are making a mistake. And here's why. Without gaslighting, without putting other people down.
Yeah. So I think for next podcast, you'll finish the book this weekend. Highlight that page. What page are you on? Just so people know.
20 with this question?
Yeah.
24?
24.
Yeah.
Then look at F9 Productions contact us page. After you've read the book and look at that and says, does it answer that? How do we answer it better? Get your Lance head into it.
Yeah.
And then let's review it.
Yeah. So if anything, again, read the book just because it helped. I think it's going to, as a sole practitioner or owner of a business, it's going to make you self-reflect a little bit and really examine, am I doing these things?
Yep.
Because who else is going to do it besides yourself? You got to have some kind of mirror here.
Yep. And I think everyone is the owner of their own business, even if you work for someone. So you are always marketing yourself too. So how the same questions apply to you. You don't have to be a business owner.
Sweet. What are we talking about in Frisco?
Wait, what?
Designing what you don't want.
Oh, yeah, no, that's later. First, are you done with the book?
I'm done with the book for now.
Okay. So I asked you book list. Do you have your book list? Do you have your next book?
The Art of War? The War of Art? What is it called?
Okay, yep, The War of Art. We're going to supplement that one.
Okay. For something else?
For something else.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
I get to choose at some point.
Yeah, after this one. After this next one. And you have to buy your own books because you won't take my red lines.
Yeah, because you're stupid.
But I bet you everyone in their head is going, I know what Alex is going to say. Lance, you have to read this. Yes. Yes. You have to.
Is it an easy read?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look how big the font is. It's Extreme Ownership by Cayko.
But I have to, like you just said, I got to get my own stupid copy because you're stupid.
Prime. It'll be here it'll be here Monday when you're done with that.
Okay.
Just because, come on, everyone in the firm.
Okay, what it is Extreme Ownership: How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win. Jocko Willink, and Leif Babin.
Leif.
Is that what is that? Who's Leif? Was that his partner?
Yep, that was his Bravo team leader.
Oh.
And Chris Kyle was Leif's main sniper.
Oh, seriously?
Yep.
All right, I'll read it.
Awesome. So one thing I just wanted to talk about was design. So have you ever had a design? I bet you everyone has.
Say that. You went fast. What?
Have you ever had a design where you put something together? The client gives you their input, and you make something, and everything works out. The floor plan works out.
Top shelf.
Everything works out. Mm-hmm. And Top Shelf is still this. Still going extremely smoothly, but then they throw something at you that doesn't fit.
Yes,
we just had that happen. I want.
But is that okay? But is what they're throwing at you, objectively speaking, out of left field? Where you're just like, why didn't you bring this up right away? Is it that?
Nope. It was within the conversation, but we just thought they wanted a sky deck. We gave them a deck on the second level, not on top of the roof, because it didn't work. The way the pieces come together didn't work, so we didn't put it in the first pass. And they said, hey, can you make this work? And we couldn't think of anything, right? And I was talking to one of our guys, Mark. I go, okay, let's just put it over the first deck. It's like, that doesn't work, right? Looked at it. Then, hey, let's move it onto the roof and kind of just kind of hide it. And he was modeling that, and I was like, that doesn't kind of work. I go, can we put it over the bathroom? And I didn't know necessarily, because I'm not modeling this where this is working. And then he put it over the bathroom and he made this little carve out on the roof, and it works perfectly. And then we can access it from the backside, which actually works better. And what I'm getting at is that none of us wanted to do this. We didn't think it was going to work out.
Don't you hate change? Everybody hates change.
Yeah. But then the incremental, like I knew that the first idea wasn't going to work, but it was what they wanted. And then also once you make that move, my unsolicited advice is that, okay, you know that's not going to work, but you need to start drawing it to give your brain some context and say, okay, it doesn't work there. What else could we do? Okay, let's move it here. Let's move it here. And it finally worked out. It's going to be great. It's going to work out. It's going to be amazing. And I was just so happy. And I can just see people having the same experience where they don't want to do something and maybe they put it off to the last second. I would say attack it head on right away and know that your first try maybe not going to be the one that works, because that's what's telling you why not to do it. But if you keep moving pieces around like design and using your skills, it'll turn, hopefully it will turn out. And we had a win this week, so that was good.
Oh, that's awesome. Good. You changed even though you didn't want to. I mean, it's tough, really, honestly. Mm-hmm. Especially when you in the context that you described it, where you go, it was a layup, and then they threw like this curveball at us, like, oh no, you don't get client. I wish you understood how big of a layup it was.
And also, don't you see that where it's logical to put it is not going to work? Like that's what's going on in our heads. Like, I know you want it, and this is a logical place.
Can you just not want it?
Can you just trust me that we didn't put it in there for a reason?
Yeah, I've had that. I've had it in that way where I go, can you just not want this?
Yes.
Can we just somehow not want this? And that's you fighting your ego, fighting logic in your brain. Literally, the reptile is taking over.
Yep.
And you need to listen to the opposite of the ego, whatever the heck that is. I can't remember what the term is, and just accept. Okay, I think so. This is the client. This is my client. I need to execute their vision, what they want.
One thing I heard about Frank Gehry was that he was extremely egotistical, because if a client ever said something that they wanted that was different, he would immediately throw out his old ideas and start on the new ones. And I thought the comment was weird, like, how's that egotistical? And they said it's egotistical because he knew that no matter what, he could make it badass. Like the client throws something at you that you didn't want to do or was different. I don't care. I'm the best architect in the world. Boom. Come up with a new idea. How do you like that? And I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it or look at it, but I was like, so that's what I take it as. Okay, something you don't want to do. Something that's, is going to be ugly. Well, are you a good architect or not? Make it work.
Yeah, step up.
Step up.
Cool. Where are we at? Josh reads?
Oh, so, and then I want to preview people. We have a new segment coming up, and I think we previewed it last time. It's not Al's 100% code questions, nailing every one. I think the last two...
You actually did pretty well.
I did pretty well.
It's amazing how much better you got after you got licensed.
Look at that. Which segues into what we're going to be doing. So a couple of our guys, at least 3 guys, are going to be studying for the A.R.E. So we're doing A.R.E. Jeopardy.
And this is in place. We are entirely replacing best and worst advice. And honestly, it just got too hard to get guests every single week. So that's what we'll do. It should be fun. And you will, with the new A.R.E. Jeopardy, what's going to be awesome is you're going to start to get to meet a few of our guys and come further inside the firm. So with that, we're Josh with Josh Reads.
Josh Reads.
Nick is not joining us today. We hope to have him back next week. So for now, Josh will step in.
Chapter 32, Master One, Then Many. Mastery matters. I'm a strong advocate of having a broad range of interests and skills that you can acquire through curiosity and the exploration of unknown territory. I'm equally a champion of mastery. To build a successful professional services firm, you must identify your niche, then master it. Put in the time and effort it takes to become exceptional at a niche that generates value for clients. Mastery matters because that is what drives clients to hire you and your organization. Many skills. To move beyond being a one-skill leader or organization, you must build a team that embraces the mastery of many skills and a willingness to explore many others. I've found it advantageous to hire talented people who are more like a decathlete than a single sport virtuoso, because the former can adapt and change more effectively. The benefits. Flexibility is the principal reason to hire that decathlete. The rate of change is increasing every day. What you master today could be obsolete tomorrow. By having a willingness to learn other skills, your team has a much higher possibility of adapting to new market conditions.
What I love about Josh reading that in particular today is that Josh has 3 hats.
He
so
does.
Josh has multiple skills.
But we bought him physical hats, not just metaphysical hats. Physical hats that he will switch when he's doing different tasks.
And he does, and it's the best.
And he'll give out to people, too.
So the 3 hats are, Josh does BIM management, so he creates a lot of content with Revit. And then he's also directing a new employee, which is fantastic. And then he's also a very skilled carpenter and craftsman, and we do build stuff, so he's got that hat. And then he's got designer, so he does step into a design role too, and starts doing traditional architecture stuff. The second part, so I love that, and I think that's a reflection of, okay, there's an example of that is us hiring somebody with multiple skills, right?
Yep.
And then there's a couple employees though that we brought in that don't have that construction experience, but we have tried our best to give them that construction experience by this summer, or not this summer, but this last fall. We put on an exhibit downtown. We all got out in the field, except for me because I was sick, and built the pavilions so people understand, how to use a saw, what it means to be a tradesman, the tiny houses, all 3 of them that we built, stuff like that. And then the second part about that segment was, I have a question for you, and we haven't asked this for a while. So we're supposed to never stop learning, right? One of the things we hated in school was, good Lord, when are we done learning all these software programs? First we started with SketchUp, and then we went to, for me, I went to FormZ, and then AutoCAD, and then
Rhino.
Yeah, and then
3ds Max, did you mention that?
Oh my gosh, no, 3ds Max, right? And at a certain point in the firm, Alex and I go, we're done with that. We're just going to go right into Revit and try to do as many things as we can do in Revit, including really good photorealistic renderings. And then we still layer Photoshop on top. But what I'm getting to is, if we still can't stop learning, we still have to keep learning and growing as professionals. We still because one of the lines was, that skill might become obsolete.
Right.
I've asked this before. Will Revit become obsolete? Like, what is the new Revit? There was AutoCAD. First there was hand drafting. Then there's AutoCAD. Then there's Revit. There's got to be some evolution coming.
Yeah. So I think it could happen in 2 ways. One, just someone else makes another Revit version that's just better, right? Doesn't come from AutoCAD. AutoCAD will buy them out eventually. Be out on the lookout for that. I don't see it yet, right? The other thing is, okay, what if building changes in some way? And that could be 3D printing. Okay, what program is used to design 3D printers? Not 3D printers, but the 3D
construction.
Right? So be on the lookout for that.
It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. The technology is going to enable the architects to become the builders again. I am convinced of this.
Yeah. What I found interesting about this, because I didn't even skip from one part of the book to another part of the book, was the dichotomy of it, right? Be a master, but then also be a decathlete. And what I got from that is, okay, a decathlete isn't the best pole vaulter, isn't the best shot putter, isn't the best runner. They're probably like the 50th best. Like if you had them against the specialists, they're the 50th best. But they're better than everyone else on the planet. Literally every 7 other billion people, right? So when you're thinking about developing skills, let's say you're going to master Revit. Okay, master Revit, carve out time, do that. Then get up to the top, 10%, top, 20%. Then you could add on another skill, and maybe it's not another program, because for us, when we started the firm, it wasn't about another program. It was about the skills of communication, of building a business, of mentoring guys, doing all that other stuff, because you have to weigh your opportunity costs. Because if we would have started out our firm and said, okay, we mastered Revit, now we're going to master Maya, now we're going to master something else, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right? So I thought there was an interesting little dichotomy there, but you just got to parse through that.
As much of a challenge as it is to learn this new stuff, how about this? Let's take the podcast, for instance, right?
Yeah.
We had to figure out what equipment to get. Then I had to figure out what software to use to splice everything up. Then after doing 43 episodes, we get a tweet that says, your audio sucks, fix it, learn another thing.
Yeah.
So
and we've went through two things of equipment. That first mic.
2 round. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Multiple rounds of multiple iterations. So just get content with the fact that the only thing that's constant is change, right? That's everybody's heard that over and over again, but
just that sky roof deck. Don't want to do it. Gotta learn it. Gotta do it.
Yeah. So there you go. Cool. Is it time for the actual segment, or do you have something else to add?
No, I was just going to add that was obviously from Art's Principles.
Yep. Another great book. If you haven't picked it up, Art's Principles, Art Gensler, Arthur Gensler, of the infamous Gensler.
So now we're going to bring in the guys, and we're going to go to our newest segment, A.R.E. Jeopardy. All right, welcome to A.R.E. Jeopardy. We have 3 guys here. We got Gresh, Peddler, and Bus here working at the firm. And it's A.R.E. Jeopardy. So we're going to ask a question, and then there's going to be A, B, C, or D. And they're going to just write on their little note cards. Is that a dog? That's a dog. They're going to write the answers. They don't have to say it in the form of a question or anything like that. So essentially, what Lance is moving stuff around. Whoever gets the most right wins for the day, and they are the king of Jeopardy and the king of the office for the rest of the day. They get whatever responsibilities that have. So play along with us. We hope you enjoy. If you have any questions about the questions, you can ask us.
And what Alex is describing is A.R.E. is Architectural Registration Exam. So it's what you have to do to get licensed. We know we have some listeners that are not architects on this podcast.
Okay, here we are with the first question. Type 5A construction stands for blank. A, protected combustible. B, unprotected wood frame. C, protected non-combustible. Or D, protected wood frame. A, B, C, or D. They are thinking. Mark's looking at other people's cards. All right, we should have, when you're done, flip the card upside down. We got 2 in, the 3rd in. Okay, let's start on the left-hand side. What do you say? We have B. B. A. All wrong. It is D. It is D. No. So type 5A. 5 is wood construction. 5A is protected wood construction. 5B is unprotected wood frame.
And that applies for you'll see this, there's type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and then type 5 construction, okay? But 1, 2, 3, and 5 only have the ability to be A or B. A is always protected, B is always unprotected. Never forget that. This is a thing you will have to review always.
And by protected, we mean, so B means you don't have to have any hour ratings, right, for your walls. But what that means is that essentially your building can only be so big and so tall. So if you want a bigger building, you protect it, which means you have to have a 1 hour rating on everything. Now you can build another story up, and you can build more. Okay, so that's what it's doing. Second question is here from Lance. That's you, Lance.
That's me. That's my name. I had to get up. We're sharing mics. Okay. Question 2. If a building has brick or block walls, but a wooden roof or floor assembly, then what construction type shall it be classified as? A, type 3A, B,
3A. Yep.
type 3B, C, type 5A, D, type VB. Type 5B.
Yep.
I always get that confused.
So it's 3A or 3B. So A is type 3A. A is protected, B is unprotected. B is type 3B, unprotected. C is 5A, protected. D is 5B, unprotected.
Yep, and I'll repeat the question. If a building has brick or block walls but a wooden roof or floor assembly, then what construction type shall it be classified as? The other thing I'd like to add is, how hilarious is it that we made this literally like an A.R.E. question where it's so confusing because your mind is doing mental gymnastics of A, type 3A, B.
Yeah. And you know what? I wanted to interject. This is going to be a pure guess. If they didn't get the first one, they are not getting this. Okay, are we all ready? Okay, starting at the end. We have A, and B. Lance, this was your question.
B is correct. Yes! Type 3B. And this is critical, guys. This is a really good, I think this is a good learning point. So, if you're in Denver or anywhere, like even like the building that's right across the way it's an older building that's right across from our office. It's a masonry and a concrete building. But chances are, if it's an old, like just post-World War II building like downtown, chances are, if you get up in the rafters and you look, they're probably wood rafters. That makes it a Type 3B building.
And how I think about it for Type 3, the outside's not going to burn. It's going to be masonry or brick, but the floors are going to burn and everyone's going to fall through, right? And why this is important, and to be fair to everyone, they haven't even started studying yet. I thought I'd defend you guys a little bit there. But there's case studies, and these case studies might ask questions like, hey, you're going to expand a building. And they're not going to tell you the building type, but you'll see in a section, you'll see maybe the outside. Exactly. Let's just use this as an example. You have brick on the outside and you have wood on the inside. So then you have to look through the types and know which type that is to see how big area you can have. Okay. Next one. Question 3. Everyone ready? Get your game faces on. Jason is ahead, 1-0. Not for long, we hear. What height in inches are stair handrails above the nosing of the tread? So stairs, your handrails, what height are they at? Okay. They can be, A is between 32 and 34 inches. B, and I made this easy. It's just going to go up in increments, right? So 32 to 34. B, 34 to 38. C, 35 to 37. D, 36 to 40. I'll do that myself. You don't have to splice that in. All right, we have 2 in. The guy with the lead is taking his time. He doesn't want to lose his lead. Okay. He's in. All right. What do we got? B, D, and B. B is correct. In between 34 and 38. How I think about it is 36 inches is easy to remember. You can go 2 inches above or beyond. Okay. So Lance, you got that written down? Written?
Who won?
Written. Gresh and Bus. All right, last question by Mr. Cayko.
Don't get it twisted, Cayko. All right, question number 4. Who is responsible for obtaining a survey? A, the client. B, the architect. C, the contractor. D, the bank. Who is responsible for obtaining that survey?
I wish you would have put something funny in there.
I know, like the last part should have been like Trump. Yeah. A, the client. B, the architect. C, the contractor. D, the bank. The D could have been the developer / Trump. See, that would have been funny.
Ah, see? We'll inject some humor into it. So we got 2 people. Everyone good? Mark? All right. Reveal. AAC. So the answer is the client. Yep. So we have a tie. We have a tie between 2 people. And the reason why, the client gives you the site, right? The site includes the survey of the source. Because Gresh
got 2 out of the 4 right.
And so did. Yeah.
Jason, oh, yeah, right. You're right.
Yeah.
So now we have to have a tiebreaker.
What's the tiebreaker? Okay, Mark, you don't get to answer this question. And then I'm going to pause it because I'm going to think about a question unless you have one.
I have one. Okay. Question number 5, tiebreaker. This is on the fly.
King of the office on the line.
Who is the king? Here's what we should do from now on: is everybody who's been an avid listener of this podcast knows that every Friday we do F9 Friday. Somebody gets to pick where we get to eat. That should be the winner, maybe. Something like that. I don't know.
I want to play. We'll have tacos all day.
There you go.
And salad.
We're just throwing it out there. Maybe that's not it. Okay. Who is responsible for obtaining the soils report? A, the client. B, the architect. C, the contractor. D, the developer Trump.
There we go.
Who is responsible for obtaining the soils report? A, the client. B, the architect. C, the contractor. D, the developer. All right. Do we have the answers?
Are you good?
Gresh says D, the developer. Jason Buss says A, the client. Jason Buss is correct. He is the king of the office. The survey and the soils report are technically, usually, not technically, but usually that's in the client's realm.
I thought I said that. I thought I said that in between the last question and the one that he made up. Did I not say that? Did I not finish my thought? We'll go back and listen. We have a record of it. Maybe this is what's problem in teaching. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that, guys. We'll come back to wrap it up here. All right, that's it. That wraps up the show. If you got 100% on this, or if you beat our guys, you're the king of your office. So don't tell anyone. Just act appropriately.
Make yourself a hat, whatever you got to do.
As the king of the office, send us pictures, and something good will happen. Okay? That's all I have. Do you have anything?
Please follow us on the Twitter. Follow us on the Facebook. Give us a like. Rate it. If you like this podcast and you're enjoying it, one of the best things you can do that is totally free is if you just go to iTunes, right in your iTunes app on your iPhone, or in the store, and rate the podcast. If you're going to give it a 1-star, just add 5 stars on top of that. We love to hear back from you. We'd also like to any kind of feedback you have at all, anything you want us to cover, anything like that. And then there's also a special Inside the Firm secret group that you can join. Join us, talk to us. We love to hear back from you.
And I'll be very brief. 2 ways also you can support the podcast. You can buy our book, The Creativity Code. It will make your life better by giving you a framework and creating clarity in your designs. And what you need to do to buy it is just go to Amazon.com, type in The Creativity Code by Alex Gore, and you'll find it. The second is Revit Furniture. It is templates, it's tutorials, it's the tools that you need in Revit to make your life better by making it simpler, easier, and faster production. And what you need to do to buy it is go to RevitFurniture.com, find the lift system. It's the second tab. Purchase that. Thanks for all your support, and we'll see you next week.